Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the series. As you can see, we actually reached Plat1 already, so we're getting very close to the diamond gameplay. I want to take you to the history a little bit because it wasn't all straight wins. Well, here we did though, but as you can see, we had some losses here and there. Mostly of them were just bricks where you just draw 2 ash, 2 maps and an apex avian, something like that, where you can get absolutely nothing going. Today will only be replay videos and I got a lot to show you, so let's just dive right into that, alright? Alright, for the first game, this is actually a nice example of when everything just goes right, except for the opening hand. So we have to banish Ash Blossom with the sales ban. Let me click fast forward. Because we need to pull something with our Pot of Prosperity, and I believe we do actually manage. Let me check to pull a Rubina. Yeah, there it is. I can't imagine we pull out anything else. Yep, we do. Alright, so there's the Rubina. And we just have to hope we didn't get impermed, which we didn't. We get a decent setup, because, well, we do get the Amp out, but no barrier statue. From here, we do pull the Trap card, I believe, because, well, we don't have the barrier statue and we can block special summoning, so maps is not that reliable, and I want to make absolutely sure we get more on the field, so I shotgun this card as soon as I can. This is the famous combo, so let's skip it for a little bit as we go into Ryza. So as you can see, we pull his card face down with the Dreaming Town, the Ryza comes out, we punch it back into his deck. That was his normal summon, and there's absolutely nothing our opponent has left. So from here, yeah, well, you guys know where it's going from here. We do get all the setups though, so we pull out the maps, we do the perfect chain. We just want to make absolutely sure that we don't get cancelled, since our opponent has 5 cards in hand. So it's a full hand and still a threat, even though his field is completely empty. He might pull an imperm from hand, we don't know. We just keep going and going, doing the perfect setup. Birds to birds. There's the Apex Avian, so the negate is out, spell card is out, but there was nothing our opponent was coming up with, and that's game 1. So game 2, guys, is us opening up terrible again. So to talk through my opening hand a little bit, I am opening with the terraforming, so if we get ashed, I'd rather have this, because we still have Pot of Prosperity and there is still a big chance that we can still pull a maps from there. And as you can see, maps is not even our biggest concern. We need an opening card. We need something to combo off, and we don't pull it with the Prosperity either. So I decided to pick a sales ban, since we have Numbers of Veil in hand, and this is just one of the turns where you just expect your opponent to come up with a special, like with a summon from the extra deck, really. Like it's 90% chance it happens, so I'd rather have the Numbers of Veil sales ban combo in hand to get Rangomaniac out. And that's actually exactly what's going to happen in this turn, so let's just fast forward to the Sky Striker stuff a little bit. Actually, Sky Striker is something I have been looking at for a couple of times. It looks really fun. They say it's not that hard to play, but I disagree. I think to play any deck really well, it has to take some skill. So he's rounding up his turn, and well, he doesn't know what he's in for right now. So in case our opponent has any kind of magic spell, well, like spell card negate, we pull the maps first, but he doesn't negate. Rango Rango comes out, we have sales ban, we banish our own Rango, and from here you guys know what's up, right? Our opponent cannot do any summoning with him on the field. No normal summon, no special summon. It's unaffected by card effects, can't be destroyed by battle. It's just gonna beat on him, and I'm actually happy we get to see him on the field for once, because normally when your opponent, well, sees Rongo and you get this combo off with the salesman, they just leave. You can see our opponent is just, he knows what happened, right? There's absolutely nothing he can do here. So yeah, he's just gonna blow up all his card. Maybe he had to do some dailies or something. Or maybe he had a plan. I don't know, but I don't think there's much he could have done. And yeah, this is where you can see the combo coming in. So you get the Floowandereeze combo on top of the Rongo. It was actually already over. Oh, I forgot. But yeah, we pulled with the maps, so we get a second summoning chain, and well, the Eaglin was already in the graveyard. So there was nothing our opponent could have done from this point. We just pull the game, but yeah, we just go into battle mode. We know it's over. He knows it's over, and get out of here. That's game number 2. Alright guys, so this next one is the most intense duel out of this whole video, so spoiler alert, this is against a mirror flu. We start by throwing the dimension shifter, obviously, but we give our opponent combos with that. So he has the Stry, and now he actually has something to banish with it. Otherwise, he might have not been able to get that Impum on the field. It is what it is, obviously we couldn't have known. Our opponent decides he decides to pull with his Impum. I believe it's the trap card. Show me, what did you pull? No, he pulls the Unexplored Winds, right. That's right. So he is actually searching for better cards. He doesn't have the best hand, he is desperate, but he puts 2 cards face down. I will fast forward from here. And we're gonna try and make plays here. So, Pot of Duality. And we pull the Impermanence. We know this is gonna be Bird Chain versus Bird Chain. And we need a negate. We pull the maps out, since we had a double Eaglin. Get the Robina there, and we are good for our first setup. So, let's just say this is Summoning Chain 1, right? Robina coming out, and here he actually launches the trap, which means he already had it in hand, which explains why he used the Winds card. Impum is out. Maps gets triggered. He is gonna use, well, pull the Ryza, Unexplored Winds. He uses his Unexplored Winds, unfortunately, to get rid of our maps. Ryza comes out, and for some reason, he doesn't use it. I don't think it is special summoned, so he should be able to use it. Anyway, we bring the maps back. We don't battle, because we don't have a card to banish with the Impum. And here I realized I should have had a card in hand, because I cannot start a combo if he's gonna clear my field, which he does. I can't get back at him. Okay, so more birds. And this is where we Imperm. So he has the Unexplored Winds. As you know, it allows him to use our cards for summoning, and if we don't allow him to get big monsters to his hand, he cannot eat our board. But he is gonna destroy it anyway. And we need to pull a bird here, or we lose. And we do. So yeah, he ogres our maps, but fortunately enough, we have the call by here. Strike comes out. We banish with our maps, and from here we're all going to go back in here. We banish our Impum to get it back maybe later with the token. We just want it in a banish zone, at least we can grab it somehow if we need to. Robina comes back. Token pulls the Impum, and we use Unexplored Wind to get rid of his maps. Strike comes out, chain blocking, and we pull for the trap card. At least we get our summoning chain started when we want to. We actually get the Ryza, eat his field, get his wins back into the deck. And as you will see in a little bit, it didn't matter much because our opponent draws a card and puts it back on the field. So he just drew it. How crazy is that, right? You put it in the deck, you shuffle it, and it's on top of there. But, alright, it makes for a good duel. We go into our chain again. Go for the Apex Avian and use Unexplored Wind to burn his. Get it out there. Flip his Impum. He goes for a Jack in the hand, but we just ban it. Well, we negate it with the Apex Avian. We just put on the field. He started his maps because we normal summoned. He's gonna do his chains. And he pulls all the birds back from the banished zone to hand. Man, this game. He gets a trap card back. Oh yeah. He banishes his wins to get it back later. Gets Apex Avian to his hand. Fortunately, he cannot use our monsters to summon it. So, yep, he's gonna attack us again. Get rid of our board. Do some damage. So, our opponent attempts to go for the chip damage all the time. I usually don't. I like to play with the chokehold I tell you guys about all the time. And let's get into this real quick. Okay, so he gets rid of our maps, but also he gets rid of his Apex Avian. It's back in the hand, so it's good for us. We'll go into that later. We actually grab the maps back. Use his cards. Summon our Apex Avian again. So we have the negate. All the birds come back from the banish zone again. So I like to use them to chain block. He just likes to pull them out. Maps comes out. Trap card comes out. More chains. We actually push 2 cards back in the deck to draw maybe something we needed, but didn't really help us a lot. Double birds. We can't really use them anyway. So Eaglin is coming. And we break his chain with our Apex Avian. We pull the Impum. And the Impum allows us to burn his cards again. Summon again. Get the Apex Avian up there. Burn his maps card again. And we attack. And we actually go for game. So, real quick guys, I know our opponent attempts to go for chip damage all the time. What I like to do is just... I talk to you guys a lot about the choke, and I like to keep the game going, and there will be a point where you just completely burn up the field, as you just saw right there. Not sure if you guys agree with me, let me know in the comments. And man, this was the last game I played for that day. My heart rate was so high. I was actually spamming escape from time to time because I had 1 second left on the timer, and let's forget about it. It's done. Get out of here. Next game. So this game will be a lot shorter. As you can see, we have the cold buy in hand, so we're pretty safe to do the normal setup, so we will just go straight through that. Alright, so he doesn't attempt to Ash or Imperm us, and we get our normal setup with the maps, the Impum, the barrier statue, and we luckily have 2 face down cards, Called by the Grave, Impermanence, and our opponent opens with the Ecclesia. So, from here, because he normal summoned, our maps gets triggered, we get to go into a summoning chain, which he max sees. We don't care at all about that. Ecclesia goes to the graveyard to normal summon, well no, special summon another monster, but we called by that, so the normal summon for our opponent is done. We have the barrier statue up here, so he can't special summon either. And we go into Apex Avian here. There's nothing on his field, so we don't go into Ryza. There's nothing to push back. He can't use a spell card either now or a trap, and our opponent knows it, and he just forfeits. Get out of here. Short game. Next. So this next game, it was a pretty cool game against an Eldlich player. So as you can see, we draw for an Ash with our Pot of Prosperity. and our opponent decides to use that. So our Robina is actually free to go and do whatever it wants unless it gets impermed, which it doesn't. So it's the normal setup again, and we will just go fast forward a little bit. Alright, so here we are. So we have the maps on the field, which we actually used our adventure card for, the Impum, the barrier statue, and we have our trap card face down. And here we can see Eldlich is coming. Of course he goes straight for the barrier statue. There's not much we can do about that, but we can start summoning on his chain. And as you guys might know, we don't want his Eldlich to come back from the graveyard, so I will fast forward a little bit. There will be a lot going on here, so yeah, we use the Try and banish the Eldlich so it cannot summon itself back from there. So that's 1 out of 3 gone. And we actually get our Apex Avian on the field because, well, Ryza, there's nothing to shuffle back. Plus, when you're playing Eldlich, there's plenty of stuff you want to negate. Unfortunately, our opponent finds a way out, and he still gets an Eldlich on the field. Go fast forward through that a little bit. And then he sets another card face down, it's back to us. From here, we draw a card, it's the token, which is great. It allows us to get stuff back from the graveyard, and we use that immediately. So we toss the winds card, chain block it of course, and since we will have that, we can start doing big monster summons and actually clear his field a little bit. We can use it to get rid of that back row over there. Okay, so here we go. And remember, from here we still have a summoning chain. We only used one. We used it with the maps. We didn't do the normal one yet. But first, I wanted to see what the back row was gonna do. And yeah, it messes with us a little bit. So Impum's gone. At least we get to negate that. Why would we pull that off the field? Well, so we can bring it back and use it to eat away from his field. So as you can see there, Eaglin, it pulls for the Ryza. And we start doing our normal summons. So we get rid of the trap card. We flip Eldlich face down for no particular reason other than we want our trap card in the banished zone so that we can bring it back with the token later. And we pass it back to our opponent. Fast forward a little bit. So he's gonna set a lot of cards from this deck. That's what it does, I guess. He decides to go for an attack well, he decides to attack the Robina, which I think, well, yeah, he's in a desperate position, so he obviously has to do something, but now his card is in attack mode. And, well, it leaves us damage. It leaves us room for damage. So he decides to push down 2 Scarlet cards right there. He really wants it probably. We pull a Dimension Shifter, which is no use to us because, well, our graveyard has cards in there. We try to bring the barrier statue back into the deck so we can actually block further Eldlich summons, but our opponent recognizes it as he should, so that's great on his side. And he blocks that, chains it. We use Apex Avian because we still do not want another Eldlich out there. So that's gone, and as you can see, he blocks us. The cards get banished instead of going back to our deck, so there's no way of getting it back now. Anyway, that's fine. We use the map, we go into another summoning chain, banishing a map, but really we wanted the Imperm back to our hand. Why? Because if we summon the Imperm, guys, we can actually eat away a card, and it allows us to do another summon, so we can actually do another big monster in there and get rid of 2 cards. Also, we banish the Scarlet. We want to get rid of those shenanigans as soon as possible. And now in the other game I talked to you guys about not doing the chip damage, but just waiting until you clear the whole board. And this is really the point where I was talking about. So we're waiting on the second summon, Impum effect. Here we go. Get rid of the Eldlich and his whole field is just cleared up here. We didn't do a single attack, and now we just attack for game. Get out of here again, and we go on to the next one. Alright guys, so we got the same setup as last turn. There was nothing special about our opening hand. We did some chain blocking, but wasn't really needed. Our opponent didn't try to interrupt us. We have our normal setup, and we actually have an adventure card as well. As you can see, we used the trap card, and we want to start and do another summoning chain on his turn. Also because our opponent opened with Sky Iris, and I didn't really understand what it does, and I saw a lot of danger in there, so I wanted to get rid of it, well, as soon as I can. I do it with the Ryza, so I push it back into the deck, but yeah, well, I will fast forward this a little bit. But as you can see, it won't be a lot of use anyway, because our opponent just had another one in hand. So, yep, he goes into max C to pop it, pull a card. Slow this down a little bit. Wait. So, actually, I'm way too late. So guys, I can't speak that fast and I don't know all the card by names, but I hope you guys can still understand this video. So he actually fuses summon Odd-Eye's Vortex Dragon to the field and sets up his second Pendulum monster and actually ends his turn there. So it's up to us to play through this field again. Fast forward, we actually pull the Pot of Prosperity again, which we just pulled back with the Ryza, so that's good. Going through all the cards, we pull an Impermanence. It's always good to have a negate when there's nothing else you really need. As my boy Alfie once told me getting back into the game, negates are and always have been the best thing in the game. So I learned my lesson, Alfie. Shout out to you here. Yep, we actually pulled Harpy's Feather Duster as well, so we actually cleared the whole field. He recognizes that we're trying to eat away the Vortex Dragon, so that is a good negate on his side, but yeah, he's too far behind from here, unfortunately enough for our opponent. Flip the card face down, destroy the card here. Do some chip damage, so I'm not gonna wait to clear the whole field and do a one-hit KO if I don't need to, but there's nothing our opponent has in hand. We still set the Imperm, he checks his card and recognizes there's no place. Get out of here! Next, battle! So this next one is us actually going second against Swordsoul Tenji. And this will be a quickie, I promise you. I will fast forward this a little bit. So what our opponent is going to do, he's going to set up a pretty basic bread and butter Swordsoul Tenji chain. He's gonna bring out his Mojay, go into Shishao, and he is from there also going to bring out his, his Baron. We have to get rid of 2 negates, and we are lucky enough to pull the Numbers of Veil from the deck. So from here I use it to threaten the Baron, so the Baron is gonna negate that card. From there he only has the Shishao negate left, so that means if we get the maps, then we actually have 2 summoning chains and the Shishao won't be able to hurt us that much. Our opponent recognizes it straight away, gets out of here, and we go into the next one. Alright guys, going into game number 8 from here. If you guys like this longer video where I just push in all the duels in one, let me know. If you rather have a little less with more detailed or live, just let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. We're going second again against Swordsoul Tenji. Our opponent opens Ecclesia. Luckily we have the Ash in hand, and he still gets to go into a chain actually, and he gets a Baron on the field with 1 face down card, and that means this time we only have the Baron de Fleur to deal with. As you can see, we have no birds in hand. We have Pot of Prosperity, and we just need to hope here that we don't get ashed on that and that we actually pull a bird. And this was actually very exciting because, well, it is not fast forwarded here, but We still don't pull a bird either, so here it goes. Luckily we have the crossout designator, so we can't get ashed anymore. No bird, no bird, no bird, no bird, 2 left, no bird, 1 left. Thank God we pulled a bird. Alright, so we use the imperm, banish the Baron. We don't want this card to be negated. And throw away the Eaglin, get the Robina, and get normally set up from here. But our opponent, here goes a nice negation chain. He has the imperm. We use our crossout designator. This is the first game I put it in, I think. But he has the effect Veiler as well. Not sure if I talked about it in the video, but I put in the crossout designator instead of a cold buy, because it still like protects us from the same way, but it can also like prevent imperm, and it helps against the mirror match. So we're running that in the deck now. Yep, this is all we have for here. We set down the adventure card, pass it back to our opponent. He is gonna pop the adventure card. Well, he has a pop anyway. We use it to banish the Robina, and he uses his Baron, the Fleur effect, for this. I'm not sure if I agree with that, because, well, yeah. Alright, well, he could have used it later. Now, Robina is banished anyways. This is a great card to pull from here, so now we can actually banish impermanence. From here, our opponent has nothing to negate us anymore. And, well, all he did was, like, prevent us from having another card. But we have enough to get our bread and butter combo here. So, Impem is out. We pull the maps, I think. Get Eaglin back to our hand. We get the barrier statue out, and here we have to use Impem's effect, and I actually use the maps to banish, which might be weird, but I want to keep a bird in hand to have combo next turn. Our opponent pulls a card, which doesn't get him any farther, and he decides to forfeit. Coming up, game number 9. Alright, this is going first against, I think our opponent is playing Endymion. We don't have the greatest hand, but we can go fast forward through this because we have Pot of Prosperity, we have Crossout Designator to protect us from whatever, and this is actually a really good pot. There's a lot of good cards in here. We decide to go with the Robina, obviously, and we just go for a basic combo. We can be impermed because of the crossout. Well, as we saw in the last game, we can get Veiler though. I don't have that in the deck, but yeah. I didn't see it much. As you can see here, we end up pulling up the trap. We have the Winds card, which we just had in our opening hand, so we got some face down shenanigans going on. Here is our opponent pulling the Dragon Shrine. We actually let that go. I didn't want to ash that. I think he was pulling for it because I ashed this. He actually wanted to cold buy that, but we also have the Imperm, and we decide to do a summoning chain here. I was actually thinking here about, well, getting a second Emblem on the field, so I can also get the barrier statue out. Because, well, it is a pendulum deck and I want to interrupt the special summoning, but I end up still going for Ryza. Eating away his pendulum card for the summon, put this back in the deck, and he forfeits. Get out of here, and we go on to the last game, guys. So, in this game we are actually going second against Zodiac Tri-Brigade, and that's actually pretty cool because when I got back into the game 2 months ago, I got actually hooked up with a Tri-Brigade deck. That was the first thing I played in Master Duel. That was the first Yu-Gi-Oh! I played for 15 years. So, I'm not that good with the Zodiac part, but I definitely know what Tri-Brigade does. I will fast forward this a little bit for you guys. So our opponent is setting up. If we look at our hand, we are pretty good. We have the adventure card to banish any of our birds if we want to and get the maps. Use the maps to summon one of those, get the other one back from the banished zone. We're actually all good here, so our opponent is actually getting a lot of cards in the graveyard. There's the Appaloosa, and that is actually very bad for us, so that can mess with us a little bit. Also, there's Tri-Brigade Revolt in there, And I just know if we go into our normal summoning chain, we will get interrupted too much. So I end up going for Numbers of Veil. Get a Rongo out, even though it is not banished. It can get rid of this. There's nothing our opponent can do about it. And he cannot summon either. So we actually get, well, like, we win a turn. Now he can summon again on his next one. But at least we still have Rongo on the field, which is always a good card. It's still unaffected. And now we can actually get our Floowandereeze shenanigans going. We pull Pot of Prosperity. We could have pulled the maps, but I just wanted to see if there was anything else we could have gotten, since we have the adventure card and we can still get the maps anyway. We pull the adventure, and as soon as we bring that out, of course our opponent is gonna pop his revolt, because we're gonna eat it out. We're gonna eat the revolt otherwise. So there it is, and here comes the cards. Here comes the Shurak, and he can't banish the Rongo, so we still have enough damage to get his Shurak off the field. He ends up banishing our maps, I think. Yep, he does. So that's good for him. It's a good card to go for, but we have all this normal stuff going on. Like, for us it's normal stuff. We had the Impum in the banish zone, so we bring that back. We use his Shurak to summon it, and our opponent knows enough. And that is actually game. Guys, if you're still here for the end, I really appreciate you watching all of this. For those 7 subscribers of you out there, thank you very much for supporting me. I hope everyone who's watching this, let me know if you like this massive set of duels put together. I know it's a little bit faster, probably too fast for me to comment on, but I'm trying my best, and I'm still having a lot of fun doing this YouTube reincarnation project. So thank you guys for the support. If you want to follow the rest, just subscribe, I guess. Stick with me, and yeah, Platinum 1 from here, so we're very close to that diamond play again, and I hope to see you guys there. Alright, have a great week, guys. See you later.